Welcome to Elite Expert Insider Podcast, where we will inspire, motivate, and educate entrepreneurs, innovators, and growth seekers. Brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, making the best and brightest in the industry #1 best-selling authors. 80% of people say they want to write a book. We're assuming that's the same for you. If so, contact us at www.eliteonlinepublishing.com and make your book a reality. Hi, everyone. This is Melanie Johnson again, back with another great podcast along with Jen Foster. Hey, Jen, how you doing today?
Good. Hey, everyone.
Hey, it's raining like cats and dogs here in Houston, but we are still going to have an incredible show today.
Well, you make your own sunshine, right, Melanie?
That's right. Make your own sunshine. That's what Jen and I are known for.
Wherever you are in the world, it's either rain or shine. You make your own sunshine.
So, and that kind of goes along with our topic today. So if you're in transition or you're wanting to take your life to the next level, if you feel like you're in the rain and you're looking for the sunshine, so we have a great guest today, Cory Jenkins. She has a book out that's called I Love Myself So. She's a #1 bestseller, and she focuses on how to get yourself to that next level and really succeed. She's a captivating speaker, author. She's passionate about helping others, creating a life that they absolutely love. So if you're interested in creating a life you absolutely love, you need to continue to listen to this podcast. She's mentored salespeople, business owners. She loves to volunteer, and she's really into transformation and personal growth. Cory, thanks so much for coming today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. And you know, I forgot one thing. Before anyone does anything else, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast. So we want you to get more involved with us. Make sure you subscribe and share it with your friends. So I forgot that reminder.
Awesome.
Great. Well, Cory, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to be this best-selling author, and a little bit about what's going on right now.
Well, you know, you guys had a lot to do with the best-selling author part. I actually started out working for other people, as everybody does. And what I found when I was a kid, I had always had a struggle with kind of fitting in. I was molested when I was very young and never told anyone because I didn't, you know, when you're that young, you really don't know what's wrong until you know it's wrong. And then you're embarrassed to tell anyone. And I just never did. And this book and all of the work that I've done over 20 years made me realize there was really nothing wrong with me. I was perfect the way I was. I just had to accept me. And that's what the book is about a little bit. It's about accepting you, your life, the people in it, and then out of that acceptance, creating what's next. And what I realized over the course of working for others for about 8 years, it drug me down and I let others kind of drag me down. And what I wanted to do was help others avoid that pitfall of allowing others to affect your life in a negative way, because you get to choose. And this book is all about choice. It's all about making a difference in your life such that it makes a difference in other people's lives. And that's what I intend to do with my life, is make a difference in other people's lives.
Well, since you've been with us and working with us, you always have such a bright, cheery demeanor and always such a positive outlook. How do you take someone and help them that have maybe gone through similar things as you, or other circumstances that have put them in that pigeonhole of not feeling great about themselves? What are some of the things that you tell them to do that help them?
There is a really simple thing, and it's something that anyone can do. And it's a great start, especially for people that really have a struggle with this. So if you have a struggle with this, this is the perfect exercise for you. I started having people look in the mirror and then find one thing, just one thing. They can find more, but they were only challenged with finding one thing that they loved about them. And it was something physical at that point. But then taking that every day and looking in the mirror every single day and just saying, I love this. And then expanding that slowly. And then including things in your life. It's the attitude of gratitude. It's the same concept, but in a different focus. It's focusing on you. And acceptance is the first step to loving you in your life. Because if you can't love you, you can't love others. And you can't share that love for you with others. So that's really what my first step would be, is just find something you love about you, whether it be something somebody complimented on in a recent conversation, you can use that to start, I tell people, but then expand it and find new things every day. And they'll grow from being something small to something really profound. And I quit my job 2 years ago to take on my life because I realized I wasn't doing what I was capable of. I had a great job. I was making great money. I had accomplished a lot of the financial goals that I'd been looking to do in life, but I hadn't accomplished the personal goals. And I mentioned, I'd let that negativity of the corporate workplace in, and it had affected my health in a negative way. And I'd allowed it to affect me and stop my goals in the health region from happening. So I started deteriorating, and by looking at that and just focusing on what I did want, I started changing that and realizing that job didn't serve me anymore. And it might be, for a long time, I was able to shift it and have that job be exactly what I needed. Even though people around me were negative, I was able to actually change their points of view and their focus and actually bring levity and lightness to work. But once it stopped serving me, and once I realized that wasn't my path, I shifted and quit my job. And that's when you guys were looking for somebody to work with you, which was amazing because I was looking to write a book. And what better place to write a book than with two people that are best-selling authors? So that was a huge gift. And I noticed that if you focus on what you want, things like that aren't just a coincidence. They happen they don't just happen. Yeah. And that's, what I've been creating throughout the last 2 years is all the things that I've said I've wanted and have been in the back of my mind and working on me have finally come to pass, several of them. There are still a lot of goals I still am working towards, but once I quit the job that wasn't serving me any longer, it served its amazing purpose. I have a few rental properties. I was able to buy and sell a home that allowed me to take my time and focus on this business and me and travel the world for the last 2 years. So
you touched on something really important back there. I just want to make sure we focus back on it. And that was when you, like, looking in the mirror and picking out something for yourself. It's the attitude of gratitude, but the focus is yourself. Because I think, we get all of these self-help books or these different things, and it's like, oh, you need to be thankful for all the things around you. You need to be thankful all the time and count your many blessings and all these things. But what about thanking yourself and thinking more focus on who you are and what you like about yourself? Because a lot of times I think we focus on the outside, and that's where we do lose ourselves. So I think it's great that you found that. And then tell us a little bit about that journey. So you traveled to Europe for 2 summers in a row now. So tell us a little bit about that.
So when I quit the job and your position opened up and I was like, can I do this from Europe? And you're like, sure. So I went over and we trained, and everything just fell into place. I had met people years prior that invited me to stay with them in England. I'd met someone in a course the week before, not the week before, but months prior to getting ready to leave. And she was taking a trip with her friend around Ireland and invited me. So I had this amazing trip for a week with 3 girls in a car, just tooling around Ireland. Then visited a hotel guest who stayed with us for 3 months, invited me to stay with him and his sister. I mean, it was just like all of the things that I'd done in my life, because I had set those goals forever ago, were now coming to pass. All of the little things that I'd been focusing on that I wanted in the past, which that's a key point, they were starting to I would say,
come into fruition.
They were starting to come together to be the foundation I needed to have this amazing journey happen, is what I was trying to say. They were the foundation. And one of the chapters in my book is called Get Your Goals to Work on You. And that's exactly what I did. 20 years ago, I set a goal to travel France for 3 months. I wanted to live there and live like a local. And I wanted to be a vagabond and do the whole backpacking thing. But when you're 20, that's different than now. So I shifted my focus and did it a little bit more, I would say, elegantly, but I stayed with friends. And that was the most amazing thing. I made new friends. And in Ireland, I made a friend, and she lived in Vienna. Another one lived in Munich. I actually stayed in Munich and Ireland for a week. Met someone new in Croatia, stayed in Munich again with her for a week. And the girl from Vienna met me in Prague. And it was just this crazy, awesome coming together of all of the things that I've set up to work in my life for me. And that's what getting your goals to work on you is about. You set that goal, and then your brain starts to pull things from your environment that will help you succeed in that goal, achieve that goal. And it's subconsciously. So you don't even have to think about it. I didn't know that meeting this woman and, well, this couple that lived in England was going to end up with me having an invitation to house sit for 2 months every year in England. But it is. I leave on June 7th. I'm going to stay with a friend in France for a couple of weeks, stay with some friends in Greece that I met last year for a couple of weeks, and then I'm off for 2 months in England. And all of that came out of having that goal in the back of my mind and mentioning it. You share what you want with the world, and it produces it. Now you have a little bit to do with it, planning and creating and cultivating those relationships and friendships and yourself such that people would want you in their house. So it's really a matter of setting your intention and setting who you're going to need to be to create that intention, which is the first chapter of the book, is who would you have to be to have everything you want in life? And if you look at it from that standpoint, from the standpoint of being the person that is generous, charismatic, loving, whatever it is that you think a person that would have what you want to have needs to be, that's what you start with. You start with that way of being, and then you shift your focus to being that person and to giving off what you think the world needs, and then the world gives it back to you. I know that for me, having this amazing journey would have never happened without the friends that I've created. And it's not like I have all kinds of money. I'm not rich, but I'm very rich in friendships, and it's been amazing to see that come to pass. Right now I'm sitting in one of my best friend's studies in St. Louis, where I'm from, and I leave for Salt Lake tomorrow, but I take a slow journey. So I'll visit friends along the way, and then I'm house sitting actually in Utah because I sold my house last year. So I haven't needed a house because I've been visiting people too much to need a house.
Well, I think you make a great point, is start with actually liking and loving yourself.
Yes.
And then going from there. And there's so many times that we're analyzing everybody else in our life, but we're not analyzing ourselves and giving ourselves credit. And then making that plan of designing your life. So many people, you're just walking through life, letting it happen to you. And you don't say, well, gosh, people have asked me, I'm coming up to the empty nester. Well, what does that look like now that you're going to be an empty nester?
Yeah.
And I thought, I need to stop and take a breath and see what I want that to be. What do I want that life to be, whether it's travel or doing different things? And then you say you're planting the seeds. And I love what you say. You can't just have it there. I think it's real important. You're both saying to put it in your head, but maybe write it down, but actually verbalize it and say it. And then who do you have to show up to be that person? What skills do you need? What mindset do you need? What demeanor do you need? What people do you need to have in your life to create that vision and those goals and to accomplish it? So it's walking through those steps, but it all starts with yourself and liking yourself and knowing who you are, and bringing those things to the table. So like if you wanted to travel and be the house sitter, well, you had all those charismatic things in your personality, but you needed to bring those more to the forefront. Just like I learned everyone has a masculine and a feminine personality. Which one do you need to bring out the most for those certain situations? I think that's great advice.
It has worked for me, and it's been amazing to see that work, to see all of the work that I've done in the past and have it just open up these amazing opportunities for me. And it is out of taking the time to focus on me, because one of the favorite things that I've heard is, I will take care of me for you, and I'll work on me for you if you'll work on you for me. And that would be in like a personal relationship where you're
but it works for not just your goals, but it works for all relationships too. Who do you need to show up for? Your loved one, your spouse, your your kids. You know, who do
Yes.
you need to show up to that, and what are the goals, and what does that relationship look like, and how do you want that plan to be? And you can
Yeah.
segment it out into all portions of your life. And I love not only has Cory written a book, everyone, she has also developed a course. Everyone has loved the book so much they wanted more and to work with her one-on-one. So tell us about the course and what kind of things people get out of the course.
So the course is all about creating the life you love, but it's a 2-part course, and it's called Love You to Life. And the first section of my book goes over laying a foundation to create the life you love. You have to start with you and learning how to love your life now as it is, learning to accept what is, learning to be the person that you need to be to have everything you want, and designing that amazing future, focusing in the right direction.
I was going to say, one thing you talked about, which I think is really important, and you've shown an example of this, is finding what you want. Like that step alone, like there's so much, you know, we live in the, a monetized world where everyone is saying, buy this, buy this, buy this. So I think it's really important for everyone to take a step back and say, what do I really want? Do I really want that new car, or do I not want a new car? Do I just want to walk everywhere and be, you know, what is the things that, you know, the society pushes on us that, do we really want that? Like, let's take a minute and think about it. don't just buy it because everyone else is buying it, right?
Yeah, I never thought that I would ever conceive of not having a car. And then I lived in France, and I'm like, cars are kind of an inconvenience a little bit. You can rent a car when you need to go somewhere far, but everything there is so accessible by public transit that when you shift your focus and you shift what's around you, you realize that not everybody has the same view as you. And when you can actually accept that, you can accept others for who they are. And that's huge, because then you gift them being. What I mean by that is they get to be who they are. They don't have to be this person that you want them to be. And one of the hardest chapters to accept in my book is called Be Right or Be Happy, because righteousness leads to unhappiness. When you have to be right all of the time, people don't want to be around you. And everybody still struggles with that. I know, like being around family, they're such a mirror for you. And when I'm around my mom, we have to like stop ourselves from like, oh, if anything's annoying you about me, it's probably because it annoys me about me, and I must be doing something. And it was such a gift. My mom actually read through this book and helped me edit it. I had her read it aloud to me so that I could hear somebody else's perspective of the book. And it was huge. If you're writing a book, that is an amazing tool, by the way. But it's better if you don't have your mom read it, because she knows you. That was perfect for me, because our relationship transformed when we read the book together. But that's another story for another day. But having someone you don't know at all read your book aloud to you has you listen from a standpoint of, oh, their tonality means they didn't get that the way I wanted it to land. And so it was writing a book has been an amazing journey. But the course, I'm super excited to start that with the group that I have. We're starting it this week, and they are going to be going through the first chapters of my book, the first 8 chapters of my book, in a 4-week process to take them into learning who they want to be and how to focus in the right way to have their goals start to transpire and work on them. And then the second level of the course, they take that a step further and actually design the life that they want to live. And they start that in the very beginning, because you have to know what you want in order to know what you want to do to create it. You know, out of knowing what you want and who you have to be come the actions and the doing of life. And if you start from the being, which creates that sense of stability and grounding and foundation. And it's one of the things that I learned as in training salespeople. You know, they say fake it till you make it. They say match and mirror people, but that's all manipulation. However, if you don't start with the action and you start with who you are, and you come from, wow, I really want to serve this person, and I really want to make a difference, and I want to get them what they need, not what I want them to have, but what they need. If you come from there, no matter what actions you take, they're going to feel that. And it makes a difference. They say people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's how you show them how much you care. You actually come from service, and you come from being there for them versus yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing that's helped me in my life is, everybody has slip ups. We're all perfectly imperfect. But when you realize that you're out of alignment with your core values and you shift back, you can feel it and everybody around can feel it. And it just makes a huge difference to be coming from your heart, not your head, and really being there for people. That's, I think, what has had all of the goals that I've wanted to create come to fruition. And it's what will propel me forward into the next goals in my life. And the book and the course, I'm excited to go through the course because I reread my workbook last year to get ready to create the course. Because every chapter in your life, Melanie, you were talking about the empty nest and what you want to create. Taking on something like this that's exactly the type of person that would want to jump into this, because then you get to look at that. It takes time out for you to focus on you so that you can be there for others in a better way. Yeah. And know where you're going so that you know when you've gotten there and you can celebrate.
I love that. Well, tell us, Cory, where people can go to find your course and to find more about your books.
So when you want to find the websites, you go to ilovemyselfso.com. And ilovemyselfso.com will lead you to, if you wanted to book a free session with me, if you wanted to book the course, if you wanted to read the book, buy the books. There's a workbook, there's journals that help you take the work into your life and take action, because nothing happens until something moves. So if you read the book, you'll notice there are action steps at the end of each chapter, take you out into your life doing what it says versus just thinking in here, which doesn't make as much of a difference. So I Love Myself So, it's also where you can find a free guide to start loving your life today. It's 5 simple steps, and you can get that on the front page. If you want to read a free chapter of the book, you can just click right under my book and get a free chapter and the intro emailed to you so you can preview the book. That talks about who you have to, or who you want to be. And then also the loveyoutolife.com. It will develop into a course, but right now it just goes straight to my Amazon page where you can follow me and find out when Love You to Life comes out or Love You to Health comes out. There'll be a whole series. Right now it's I Love Myself So, a guide to creating a life you love, that you can find there, as well as the workbook and journals.
Terrific. Thanks, Cory. Thanks for sharing all that today. I got a lot out of it. I'm sure everybody else did too. And I'm looking forward to designing my, empty nest house coming up real soon. Yeah. Awesome. So make sure you subscribe to our podcast. And also, if you're looking to write a book and become a bestseller, just like Cory did, please contact us at eliteonlinepublishing.com. There's a submission form right there that you can click on, and then we'll give you a call and see if you qualify to work with us. And if your book is great, just like Cory's, and we'll make you a bestseller. So we'll see you next time right here. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks,
if you'd like to create the most powerful advertising tool for your business, contact us at eliteonlinepublishing.com, where we will help you create, publish, and make your book a #1 bestseller, and show you how to get new leads and more revenue for your business. If you'd like to check us out on our Facebook page, we have a free book for you as our gift. Just go and click free book. Remember to subscribe and leave a comment for our podcast. We would love to hear from you.